It's halftime. And why do I call it halftime? Well, because 6 months of the year just went by. And I want you to do this. And remember, I said I'm a high school basketball coach. I've been doing this for 15 years. That's a long period of time, my friends. 15 years of doing anything is a long period of time. And when halftime comes up, something really profound happens. It's the opportunity to do a few things. So I want you to think of the word halftime, HALFTIME. And we're going over halftime adjustments, but this is related to your life. This is related to your year. It's related to your recovery. This is big time, okay? So what we're going to do now is look at the word H, okay, of halftime, the H. I want you to look at the last 6 months of your life, which is the last 6 months, which is the first half of 2024, and be freaking brutally honest with yourself. Be honest with your performance. Be honest with what you did. Be honest with what you didn't do. Not like what you think it was, not what you wanted it to be, not what you hope it was, what it actually was. You know, in sports, it's really easy to be honest because numbers don't lie. The scoreboard doesn't lie. It's easy to look at the scoreboard and say, yo, we did well or we dropped the ball. Life doesn't really have those objective, concrete scoreboards for us to be able to assess and address and look at. But you can do this. Look at your first half of your 6 months and be honest with yourself. And sometimes being honest is hard because sometimes you want to be somewhere else that you're not. And it's easy to say, I am not there because that person or that person didn't let me get there. That person or that person got in the way. It's that person's fault that I'm not where I am. Can you imagine if someone did that in sports? Like if we go in the locker room with my players and they come up and we're just getting drilled and they say, well, coach, I'm doing everything right. It's that person's fault that we're not winning. I'll be like, yo, kid, get the hell out of this locker room. Just leave and don't come back. I don't even want to see you till the next game. Nobody's going to do that because they know better that it's a freaking self-responsibility. Like, what did you do? Not what did they do or not do. So you got to be honest with yourself, my friends. The next one is to assess. So the A of halftime is assess your performance. See, assessment is a look. It's an objective look. And you look at your own performance. And I hope to God you can find many areas that you can give yourself an A in. Say, you know what? I suited up and I showed up and I did great in these areas. That'd be wonderful. And I want you to also look in the areas that you did okay in. Like, hey, I didn't do as good as I wanted to, but I still freaking feel like I did good enough. Like I tried my best. That's awesome. Sometimes our best, by the way, doesn't necessarily mean a full-blown victory. Sometimes our best doesn't mean that we're up on the scoreboard. Sometimes our best is just our best, and that's okay. But if you're assessing yourself, don't just look at the good. Look at the parts where you completely dropped the ball. Look at the parts where you lacked effort, motivation, enthusiasm. The reasons why you didn't do it, you got to look into those. You got to assess those with brutal honesty. And then the L of halftime, HAL, is lessons learned. I'm going to tell you guys something that's the truth. Your lessons in life will continue to repeat themselves until you, as the student, learns the lesson. So if there's something in your life that continuously happens, a type of conversation, a type of feeling, a type of experience that keeps happening in life, and you think that it's just because of external factors and you have nothing to do with it, I'm telling you, you are not learning a lesson. Nothing repeats itself until nothing will ever repeat itself when you learn it. But once you don't, it's going to keep coming and coming. For those of you who've ever experienced Groundhog's Day, for those of you who've ever experienced same person, but different names, same situation, but different circumstance, all that kind of stuff, I'm telling you, you got to look and see, why the hell am I letting this happen? How am I letting this happen? What lessons can I learn from this? And if you don't learn the lessons in the first half, the second half is going to look the same. So that's the whole point of this talk. If you're feeling like your year is not going the way you want it to go, and if you don't do the things I'm telling you right now, I promise you in December, you will be in the same spot. And then all of a sudden, another year of your life went by. For some of you, by the way, another decade of your life has gone by. For some of you, 20 years of your life has gone by. Like at some point, when are you going to say, I got to stop this shit and I got to change directions of my life? So that's the lessons learned. And now here's the most beautiful part. You ready for this? This is a coach. I tell this to everybody. And as a player too, I say this even to myself. You got to forget it. So H, honest, A, assess, L, lessons learned, and then F, you got to forget it. If there are things that you feel like you didn't do up to your standards, identify them, honestly, make some, bring it to your awareness, but then you got to forget it. It's like we tell this to basketball players that are shooters. So you guys know what a shooter is, the person that kind of takes a lot of shots and hopefully makes a lot of shots. Let's say that shooter goes in a slump. Let's say that shooter is unable to make some shots. Let's say that shooter isn't shooting well. You think at halftime when that player comes around, we sit down and we tell them, hey, you know what? You shot so poorly. Just keep thinking about all the misses. Hell no. I say, man, you're a shooter and shooters keep on shooting. Keep on shooting. Keep on moving forward. Keep on grinding. You guys know I also play pickleball too as a player, not a coach. I actually just won again yesterday. So last week when I wasn't here, I won a really big tournament. I became California state champion, which is really cool. And then yesterday, I won. It's a national qualifier. So as a result of my tournament championship, I actually am now, I got a ticket to the nationals, which is really cool. But here's the thing that my coach in pickleball tells me. You know what the best shot in pickleball is? The next shot. Forget the mistakes. So if you've done things in the past 6 months that you're not happy about, you know what I want you to do? I want you to forget it. I want you to just forget it. Okay, so now we go to the next one. Is the T of halftime is something called time. Sorry, this puppy's going crazy right now. Okay. The T of halftime is time. See, when you go into the second half of anything at halftime, half of it's gone. So there's only one half left. So the timing becomes a little bit more important because it has something in it, which I call it a gift, and that's called sense of urgency. Okay? When you think you got all the time in the world, man, you don't have no sense of urgency. You just kind of coast. You sit in your comfort zone. You're just chilling. But when the seconds start to tick and the ending gets closer, the anxiety goes up. You're like, shit, I got to do something. Have you ever noticed all those things in your life that you procrastinate on? And then the last second, somehow miraculously, you pull out a miracle and you get it done? Well, shit, that's just because of timing. It's like, what do they say? Thank God for the last minute. Because without it, I'd never get anything done. So, my friends, when you realize that 6 months of the year is gone and you got 6 months left, you better get some sense of urgency. If there's some stuff you got to get done, you haven't gotten done, like, when are you going to do it? Oh, let me guess. Tomorrow. That's always everyone's favorite answer. They're going to get to it tomorrow. But what happens tomorrow? Well, tomorrow comes, and then they say, hey, you got to get that thing done. Oh, yeah. I got you. I'm going to get to it tomorrow. And then tomorrow after tomorrow after tomorrow and next week and next week and next month and next year. Let me tell you guys something. Tomorrow don't exist. All we have is now. You get it done now. Not tomorrow, now. And if you don't want to do that, that's cool. People that get things done now are going to pass you by. And you're going to think, oh, they're just so lucky. Oh, they get all the favors. Oh, they're everybody's favorite. No, man, they just get shit done now. That's all it is. They don't wait. They don't procrastinate. They get it done. So please, if you have a list of shit to do in the second half of your year, start getting it done now. The next one that we have is this thing called, halftime, TI, is imagine. Oh, I'm one of those guys. I close my eyes, I dream, I vision, I see things before they ever happen. because somewhere along the way of my recovery, I bought this book. It was recommended to me. It's called Think and Grow Rich, which if you don't know what it is, hint, hint, get it. It's awesome. But in that book, there was a quote that made me think. And once I started to think, good things happen. And here's what it said. Everything in life is created twice. Once inside the mind and once inside reality. Think of everything you've ever seen in life physically. At some point, someone thought about it before they made it. You can't just create things without visualizing it first. So in basketball, for example, one thing that I do with Imagine with the kids is we say, yo, think of the end of this game. Think of how you want to feel. Think of what it would feel like if the scoreboard was us. Think of how it would look like to look at the stands and see your friends and see your family members smiling. Think of how it would feel like to come back in this locker room, screaming, jumping up and down, just excited that you know that you just went out and kicked some butt. So I want you to think of what it would be like on December 31st, 2024, if you accomplish these goals that you need to accomplish this year. Think of how it would just be experienced by you, by those around you. You need to visualize it. You need to like crystallize it. You know, honestly, I'm not even exaggerating. Everything I accomplish, I visualize first. Everything, whether it's creating a workbook, whether it's having a talk with you guys, whether it's standing on a podium of first place in a tournament, whether it's coaching sports, teaching classes, I visualize it so detailed with color, with emotion, with feeling. Because once the mind sees it, then you can create it. You know, astronauts in NASA, okay, so this is way smarter people than me, man. I'm dumb as a brick when it comes to these people. In NASA, before they ever send astronauts up in space, they have them go through the whole thing for months just with visualization. Before they even get on a rocket ship, they visualize going to space. Because if the mind sees it, we can go create it. It's just the way it works. So some of you have never visualized success in your life. You know, for those of you who have completed my workbook, which I know none of you do because there's always workbooks hanging around the freaking office, pisses me off, but it's okay. I put so much time and effort in that. And then it's just like in the lost and found, it's like someone's workbook because I don't want to do this. I've done this before. First of all, no, you haven't because it's original. Second of all, how you do anything is how you do everything. So whenever I see someone's workbook just like in the corner of the office, I know that's the way their life is everywhere. And that's okay. We're here to help you transform your life. But if you choose not to do it, it's on you. But there's an assignment in there for those of you who care to do it, which is actually very profound and transformative. And it says, if your dreams don't scare you, they aren't big enough. And then on that same page, there's two pictures. It says the front of your business card and the back of your business card. And it invites you to go on that business card and write your name, write whatever job, career, profession, industry, whatever you want to do, write your role, write your title, and create your business card and create how you want to be represented to this world. You want to put the CEO, the president of, you want to put the owner of whatever the heck it is that you're going to be doing, feel free to. But instead of doing that, just throw the workbook aside. And you know what? With that, so goes your goals, so goes your dreams, so goes your ambitions. Some of you youngins, and by the way, I coach high school basketball, so I understand youngins really well. I'm not one of those old heads like, well, this guy doesn't get it. I get it really well. Some of you youngins don't understand the power that you have to create any life you want for yourself. And it doesn't just go for the youngins. People our age, the 40-year-olds, the 50-year-olds, the 60-year-olds, you can have the greatest second half of your life if you choose to make these halftime adjustments. Some of you will, and some of you won't. And unfortunately, there ain't shit I can do about that. So the next one we have is this thing called, so after the I of imagine is the M, time, you know, halftime. And it says to make a plan. You got to make, so once you visualize it in your mind, you got to start thinking, okay, I have a destination, I have a goal, I have something I'm going towards. Now, how the hell am I going to get there? You make a plan that's actionable, that's executable, that's that's realistic. You break it down into smaller increments. What am I going to do today? What am I going to do this week? What am I going to do this month? It's kind of like those people that compete in aesthetics. They try to go on stages and they got a show like 6 months down the line. They don't just say, oh, I'm going to go on stage. It's like, okay, what do I got to do today, this week, this month, next year, so I can be ready for that stage, right? So life is just one big stage, and we're always showing off our tenacity, our will, our drive, our desires. We're putting it out there for ourselves and the world to see. We're showing off our hard work. We're showing off our perseverance. We're showing off our resiliency. We're showing up our stick-to-itiveness, not giving upness. Whatever you're going to display one day, man, what are you going to have to show? And do you have a plan? So some of you, by the way, some of you have no vision of the end of the year. You have no plan of what you're going to do to get there. So honestly, as adults, even the 18, 20-year-olds, as adults, if you got no vision for your day, for your week, for your month, for your year, and you have no plan for a vision that doesn't exist, then how the hell are you going to get to where it is you're going? Like, dude, just get in a car and start driving. Start driving in a car. And I'm going to ask you, hey, did you get there? And you're going to say, where am I supposed to get? I'm like, I don't know. You're the one driving. See, a car and a destination is the same as life and goals. You do it in a car because you got somewhere to go. If you got nowhere to go in life, man, you ain't going to get there. And some of you, by the way, are getting offended by me talking to you like this. He doesn't even know me. How dare he say I'm not going to accomplish my goals? Well, if you have a vision and you have a plan to get there, you will. So I'm not talking to you. No need to get offended. But if you don't, I'm talking to you and I need you to hear the honest truth. You're not going to get there. And I hope that pisses somebody off to prove me wrong. And, I'm going to show him I'm going to get there. Okay, good. So that means you got to have a vision and have a plan to get there. And if you do that, then it's all good. Win-win. And the E of halftime is execute. A plan is a plan. You can write everything down on a piece of paper. But if you don't execute it, it don't mean shit. If you don't execute your plan on a day, week, month basis, you will not get there. It's the same of having a destination and the GPS tells you what you got to do to get there, but then saying, you know what? Nah, I'm going to do my own thing. It tells me to make a left. I'm going to make a right. It tells me to go 10 miles. I'm going to go 4. Well, fine, man. You're not going to execute. You're not going to get there. So execution is important. And I think this is a very, very, very timely and appropriate talk for us to have today. Because, my friends, the first 6 months of 2024 is gone. It is the halftime of 2024. As the coach, I chose to give you a little halftime talk, how we can make some halftime adjustments, and how all of us, including myself, can get to the outcome we want at the end of 2024. Because believe it or not, I do believe that you can do it. I do believe that you deserve it. And I do believe that you will get it done if you choose to. So halftime adjustments, be honest with yourself, assess your performance, figure out the lessons you learned or didn't learn, because if you don't, they're going to repeat themselves. Make sure that you forget it. Once you hit yourself in the head enough, just say, okay, forget it. Be a goldfish, as Ted Lasso says it. Make sure that you understand that now there's 6 months left. So time, sense of urgency, important. Make sure that you are able to imagine the outcome that you want. Close your eyes and visualize the outcome. Make sure that you make a plan, because if you have a destination with no plan, I don't know what the hell that means. And then it's on you. Execute. So all that being said, wow, 25 minutes of straight rambling, and I feel like I did my job. I'm going to spare you the last 4.5 minutes to do what you want with your life. I love and appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for giving me this space to talk to you. I hope you found some value out of it. Love and appreciate you. See you next week, guys. Bye.